What's going on, everybody? I'm Casty Haynes, owner of BodySlam.net, and I am here with another installment of our special GCW Road to Hammerstein interview series. And I'm here with my friend AKIRA. What's up, brother? How you doing today, man?
What's up, man? I'm just hanging out, going with the doggo for heading to the gym and doing some stuff.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, I'm glad you can sit and join with us, man. I'm glad I got to talk with you because your style of wrestling, deathmatch, is something that a lot of people are drawn to GCW about, but yet also a lot of people are turned away from. But I like it. So I wanted to get in and talk to you about that and get a little insight from you on there. So let's just dive into it. What got you into that genre, that style of wrestling? What drew you to that? And
I mean, when I first started wrestling, I'd never seen a death match, didn't really know shit about death matches. And when I started training and stuff, I'd seen clips and stuff, and I was never grossed out or that's not wrestling or anything like that. I was like, I don't think I could do that. All right, but it's cool though. Moving on with my life. That's essentially just how I lived. I started off being kind of still what I do, technical, strong style, that kind of stuff. And it just went to the They Said It Couldn't Be Done show where Jun Kasai was here versus Cologne, and as everybody my backstory in wrestling is kind of and deathmatch wrestling is kind of known anyways just through that. I was there for that. I took care of Cologne on the way back, and he said the infamous words, "Don't do death matches, kid." And it was because of that show I went to in GX in Mexico, and that's when I had my first death match, and just off the races. I'd been in for wrestling for a year, and then I was in Mexico 2 months later, 3 months later, and it all started to spiral from there.
That's what's up. And so you said you were doing just a year. So let's go back. So where'd you start training? Where got you into? You started in 2018. Okay. You said January, right?
Yeah, January 8th, 2018 is when I debuted officially, in front of an actual paying audience. Started training in 2017. I was gonna debut in 2017, but then I got mono. Don't even know how I got mono. And then so with mono, there's a thing with your there's a certain gland in your body will swell, and when you land on the mat, it's a fucking very impactful. And if you land wrong or you do something wrong when you have mono and it's swollen, it explodes and you die. And so I had to debut my debut until January. But I trained at a school. There's a promotion that's kind of popular in Indiana called New Wave Pro. This is before they were becoming more like an indie like they are now. And I trained there under a guy named Blake Reed. It was a class of 2 or 3 people, and then they all quit except for me. I would drive 3 hours one way, stay at his place and sleep on his floor, his dirty floor, for the whole weekend just to get ring time. Then I'd drive back, go back to work, and just every weekend for a year, just because I got sick and I had to delay stuff. And it was to there. I just debuted, and he told me, he's like, all right, now he's like, you debuted, get the hell out of here. He's like, do not stay here. Do not be like a lot of these guys and stay here. Get out, go wrestle, go learn. That's how you're going to get better. And that's what I did. And that's a lot of my career was through that, because then I went through the New Japan Dojo camp. I went there for a week, and that's when I did that entire week, and things started to click for me there in terms of understanding wrestling. And it was just off the races. I was going to shows, and I based my entire style off that whole week too. A lot of my basic stuff I adapted and I got from Shibata, and everything was off from there. It was just going on the road, learning from people, being in the ring before and learning from people and just trying stuff.
That's awesome. So do you see yourself as being more of a deathmatch wrestler, or just a wrestler that can do death matches?
No, I'm always going to say I'm a deathmatch wrestler, but my goal is to be a deathmatch wrestler who's a better wrestler than everybody else.
That's what's up.
I have I guess my mission statement I'm going to say for 2022 and for the rest of my career is get people to say the best wrestler in the world is a deathmatch wrestler. So that's my goal. My goal as I'm moving to Jersey in July is to be wrestling full time. I'm going to go to places where, you know, are more famous for just straight up wrestling, and I'm going to go there, and I'm going to kick the shit out of people and show people what's up. And that's my goal is to elevate what deathmatch guys do, and so that we get more respect for it, because we are just as good, if not better, than a lot of the guys that are working nowadays.
I agree to that. I mean, there's an element to that how you have to trust somebody to be able to do that, and the safety of being able to do it safely is insane. So yeah, I mean, to do that well and to do it safely is something incredible. And you guys are definitely better than most wrestlers I've seen out there, because there's a lot of shit wrestlers out there. Man, we all know that working some of these indies I've seen, and it's just it's refreshing to see how GCW brings the deathmatch element into their show, because it's not like you get like probably one event or one event. You know what I mean? They do it well, and it's not enough to draw people or to push people away, because that's not everybody's thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you've been featured you're featured pretty prominently in the last pay-per-view there at the end.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that. Like you being involved in the middle of the John Wayne Murdoch and Cologne feud. Like, tell us a little bit about that. And
I mean, just to say, like, my involvement in GCW has been more than a lot of people can ask for. It's always been like something memorable or something that people will be talking about. I mean, from my debut at Fight Club, where everybody was screaming for me, and it was
I was there. I was one of the ones screaming for you, bro.
It was one of the many. It was I wasn't just some random guy. It was people that were legitimately excited for me, and like even when we lost, people were booing the shit out of the Second Gear Crew, and I was like, Jesus Christ! And they started chanting for me. I was like, oh my God, okay. Then I did the main event angle the next day, and then I did NGI, and people loved my match at NGI. Then I had the match with Raver where I fell off a ladder, and I got multiple texts going, "Are you dead?" And I go, "No, I'm fine." It was very stupid. But
yeah, I was wondering that too. I think I might have even asked somebody, I was like, "Is he all right?" Yeah, he's good.
And then I got very stoned the next day.
I don't blame you.
And then then I was there for Cologne and Murdoch, and I was stuck right in the middle. I was in divorce court, as everybody says. So many jokes and pictures of me, like the Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio ladder match for Dominic.
For Dominic,
there was like multiple edits of Murdoch and Cologne with me. As I was like, God, this sucks. But
I saw that one actually. I was cracking up at that.
I was like, I was doing this a lot, and Masha was laughing at me about it, and I'm just like, shut up, leave me alone. But just being there for that, and just seeing the outcry, the public notoriety that match got and what came after was wild. And being ringside for it and seeing this begin to happen was pretty crazy,
And I mean, and to be a part of the story too, because you were, you
stuck
weren't
in the
just
middle.
there; you were stuck in the middle, and it told a good story. And that's something that GCW does too with their deathmatch wrestling. But it's not just there just to be the blood and guts; like, they actually incorporate it and tell an ongoing storyline through it. So it's not just
developing into something more. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was great was a lot of people were catching on to the nuances of the story, and like people. And what was cool is I was afraid too, just because people were going to maybe start booing me. And there were some that were being but then they would get it, and they go, "Oh, he's like," and he was being very impartial. Like, I even gave Cologne a chair. I was like, "Here's the chair, do the thing." Fucking, I was getting the ref up for him, and people, like, some people would boo, and then we go, "Oh wait, no, I see what he's doing. Never mind." Okay. Fans are a bit smarter than a lot of people give them credit for. But
yeah, and you did a good job getting across to the crowd live there, because we could hear it through the commentary. So they were doing a good job telling the storyline to us, but the crowd there don't get to hear it. So you did a good job, getting the point across to them without actually them being able to hear KG and whoever was on Prazak, I guess, on commentary talking about it. So
there was a fun, not a fun thing, but it was something that I remember too was, so, like everybody's like adults in the front row, but there was like this really little girl with her dad in the front row. And I was wearing that jacket the whole weekend. And I gave that dad my jacket, and I was like, "There's gonna be lots of glass flying. When I look at you, probably raise the jacket over because they do that in Japan too. Like they'll raise like stuff in front of kids or in front of themselves so they don't get hit." And that actually came in use a couple times, and people were like, "Oh," and I was like,
That's awesome.
I don't want the kid getting
Yeah.
cut up with glass. Come
Yeah,
on."
no, that's funny because I was in Chicago and I'm in the very back at 3 Cup Stuff. I'm just hanging out in the back with Sean Sapp from Fightful and a bunch of people. And this piece of glass just went flying right by us and almost like hit us in the head. And then he went and got it and was just like, "Here, take it. Here's a souvenir." So yeah, I brought it back. So yeah, like this could fuck you up, man. Yeah. So yeah,
it was a whole ass pain too, and like
yeah.
I got cut from that in places I didn't think I'd get cut. Also, hi Sean. I know Sean.
Oh yeah, no, Sean, yeah, because you guys are in the same area basically down there.
Yep. I train at the same catch wrestling school that he used to train out of. So
that's awesome. No, he's a good buddy of mine, man. I love Sean. We hang out every time we're in the same area as much as we can. So I'm sure he'll be looking forward to seeing this one. I talked to him the other day and told him I was doing it, and he was looking forward to it. So. But yeah, let's you talked earlier about you drew a lot from the New Japan dojos you did there. Is that where you get most of your inspiration from? Or are there other places you draw your inspiration?
I mean, it was stuff like Bret Hart, but like I'd watch a lot of like my dad had a lot of VHS tapes, so it'd be like fucking like New Japan stuff like that, ECW. So those are the ones and WCW. I remember those vividly when I was a kid.
I got WCW VHS tapes behind me here. I got like tons of them, dude. That's what I grew up on. I was a tape trader back in the day, so I'm an old man. I'm 39. So like,
there was no tape trading where I was from. I grew up in the middle of the country, in the middle of nowhere. Like I was born in like a city, and then my family moved, and I was the only Asian kid in the middle of nowhere. It was a great time, let me tell you.
I'm sure, yeah. I'm from the mountains of North Carolina, so there's not much up here either. So I kind of get that middle of nowhere vibe. Like it's 15 minutes to anything really from where I am. So,
I mean, it was more like 30 or 45 for me. I was in the boonies of Indiana, but
it's flat corn for miles, and all of a sudden Indianapolis, and then back to corn for miles until you're But,
I'd watch that stuff, but then I kind of like phased out of it as I got older. I always say like some people will stick to wrestling because it's like it's always in their life, and for me, I was dealing with other personal things in my life, so I became much more focused on those personal things other than actual hobbies. But then I got back into it around the end of high school, beginning of college, and I had like friends that kind of got me back into it. And I just remember watching. I was like watching like Ring of Honor, Pro Wrestling Noah, New Japan, like seeing guys like Suzuki, Shibata, Nakamura, and I was like, these are the fucking dudes, And like as the Korean Japanese mixed white kid, I was like, oh my god, I can actually like kind of identify with these guys, and it helped that there's like with the things that they did, I liked more. It was that hard hitting, like throwing people on their heads, and I was like, and unspoken, like I don't like American wrestling as much because I love like the stories in Japanese wrestling just being generally told in the ring. Like that's where you see everything. Yeah. It's like if you ask me to watch a movie, I prefer like those movies that like Blade Runner, where it's like you have to watch and observe rather than it explains everything to you. I just think there's beauty and eloquence to that. Like American wrestling needs to, it's like we got to explain everything to you. It's just a Western view, I guess, versus an Eastern kind of view of things.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean because I grew up watching WCW exposed me to New Japan in the early '90s, and I used to seek it out as much as I could, and that was one of the first things I started trading tapes. I was getting as much Japanese stuff as I could, and I hadn't a clue what was going on because I didn't speak the language or understand what they were saying, but I could tell the story just by watching the match. They did a good job of that, like you were saying, being able to tell you what was going on storyline wise without even like having commentary to sell you on it. So
Shout out though to WCW though, because that's how I got introduced to the Joshi divisions, and that's how I started the new Akira Hakuto and stuff like that. It's just through them. So shout out to them.
No kidding. Yeah, they I was watching some of these 95, 96 nitros and stuff around those pay-per-views right now currently, and they had those the women's the Joshi tag team matches in those and put them on Nitro and stuff. And I think I heard Bischoff talking about those on some of his podcasts and how much he wished he could have featured more, but there just wasn't a market for women's wrestling at the time, and there wasn't that many talented women wrestlers to be able to have a division back then. And how just the time, like, man, that some of those people really were in the wrong time. You know what I mean? Like right now they're just to the moon with their careers, but
they were doing great in Japan though. So it's kind of like it's fine.
It's fine there, but you know what I mean? Like, I mean, that's where like Medusa and people like that had to go wrestle, you know, too. So, but who knows? But you've had, so like you said, you mentioned him earlier. You've had 3 matches with GCW, right? Is that correct? The
Fight Club, Fight Club, NGI, and then the Raver match.
Yeah, and all those have been very prominent matches and stuff. So what do you see? What's next? What do you see for yourself? What do you want out of GCW for yourself out of 2022? What are some matches you want to happen?
Well, personally, like everybody wants to win the big one. Just like at ICW, I want to win, the big one there. So it'd be the world championship. But right now, I mean, I've lost 3 matches. I've started my year with an 0-1. So like my first things first, I got to start fucking winning. That's the first step. If you, in order to do anything, you got to win. People say wins and losses don't matter. They kind of do. If you want to, excel and grab gold and whatnot. So right now I'm hitting the gym, working out really hard, and I want to eventually, TOS is going to be coming up here at some point. NGI is coming back again, and I mean, those are 2 things to win first. You want to keep proving yourself to the fans so that when you do actually win something big like the Ultraviolent or the World Championship, there's that gratification of it. So like those are kind of what I want to do right now. I'm focusing on those tournaments, and then by proxy it'd be the Ultraviolent or the the World Championship. But right now, for what I want to do and for where their company is at, I want to win the Ultraviolent in time. Yeah. And same with the ICW, the American one. I think having those 2 together and being the guy to have both of those and be like, hey, see, like, calm the fuck down, everybody. Like, let's just enjoy deathmatch wrestling. I'm worried about me, and I'm worried about deathmatch wrestling as a whole. And then obviously, there's titles across the seas I want to get after eventually. Like that King of Freedom style is sweet.
Yeah. You had a really good match. So the other night was it last weekend or the weekend before at VXS? That was
VXS. The fucking barbed wire match.
Hey, dude.
Nobody likes barbed wire.
No, man, like where I live, like barbed wire is everywhere. People got to keep their cows in the fields and shit. And I used to hate crossing barbed wire because I always fall and cut myself on it. So I couldn't imagine doing what you guys are doing. That was a fun match to watch. You looked just cut up and gashed up from it though, man.
Honestly, it was an easy night at the office.
That's easy.
Oh yeah,
shit, man.
I do that more than falling off a ladder, honestly. Like, I mean, my hand got sliced up a little bit, but I'm not having people text me asking me if I'm dead or not.
That's true. Well, let's talk a little bit more about Hammerstein. And so far you haven't been announced, but you never know what could happen. But let's talk about what that means, because it's more or less about GCW and the people that have helped get the company to this part. You've been there on the road because, like, since Fight Club, you've been there. So what does this mean for you as somebody that's performed for GCW to see the company reach this part of this success, this pinnacle so far, going to Hammerstein this weekend?
Well, I mean, I don't think I'm going to be there, honestly. But it's cool for me to see guys and to see this company that people have trashed and ragged on forever, and they're excelling and they're excelling and they're growing, and they're basically become a feeding ground for all these other promotions to latch off of and to snake off of.
And also a place for people that leave these big promotions. They seek you out. They want to come to GCW. That's one of the first places they want to come when they, or leave the big two or whatever,
Like,
too, so.
and it's become a place where, like, guys like me, like I've dreamed of being a mainstay guy at GCW since I saw Cologne versus Kasai. And I'm not saying I'm a mainstay guy yet, but I'm one step closer than I've ever been before. Like, there's an energy and a rawness in the crowd that can't be matched, And but seeing guys that have spilt so much blood and guts, and now this promotion, and these guys are going to the Hammerstein. They're going to be on pay-per-view, on TV. It's crazy, Like, it's legitimately a middle finger to everybody that has ever talked shit about them. And I live to be like that too, because I mean, I've been told no so many times. I've been rejected so many times. I mean, I was part of the group called the Rejects, for God's sakes. People rejected me in this area until I went out and made a name for myself, and now they're like, "Oh, we love you," and now I'm leaving, and they're like, "Oh, you're leaving," and I go, "Yeah, because you missed your chance. I got other things to do." Like, it's this promotion and that deathmatch wrestling is fueled by the idea of, screw you, we're going to do what we want, how we want to, and they're doing it. DIY shit, like that's the American dream, is doing things your own way, not taking no for an answer, and succeeding. And I salute that.
Yeah, it's got very, very mid-90s ECW vibes to the whole, like, the rise and just the atmosphere being at a show, and just this push. Because now you guys are on real pay-per-view, not just iPay-per-view and stuff like that. So it's kind of the same thing with ECW going to Barely Legal, their first pay-per-view, and like how big of a show that was for the company. It's kind of reminds me of that whole because I lived through that, man. I was there. I was a kid.
The audio cut out, man.
Oh, did it? Can you hear me now?
It's getting all fuzzy.
Oh, is it? Is it better now?
No.
Shit.
Sound like a robot.
Hold on a second. Let me try this. Did it fix it? Is it still bad?
It's still there.
Still bad?
Yep.
All right, hang on. I'm just going to do it without the headset. All right. Can you hear me now?
I can, yeah.
All right. It's not. Is it? It's probably a little echoey though, right?
Yeah. It was on my end. There we go. What was that? That was weird.
I don't know. Let me try this just one more time to see if it fixes it, because I know it'll be echoey if I don't use my headset. So hang on. Do I still sound like a robot on your end?
No, you're all good. You're all good.
Am I good now? Okay, cool.
Yeah, you're all good. I always view it as like it has an ECW mid 2000s Ring of Honor vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's once again, like, in the promo that Brett said, it's like, I've seen whoever said it, I've seen it like 1,000 GCWs come and go, and whenever you say something like that, like, really,
I'm running. Dude, it's my dog's got his paw under the door, so it's all right. Oh, pretty boy.
You said get your cameo in, don't you?
For everybody that's going to be listening to it, you should go check out the YouTube and check out a run-in by AKIRA's puppy, or beautiful dog there. What's his name?
His name's Coda.
Coda.
Little brat.
Man, he's a big boy. Anyway. Yeah, no, I feel that same. Yeah, no. It's a true statement too, but at the same time, like, there's always the exception, and you guys seem to be the exception to that statement, because there have been, that a million come and go, but you did something. They got something different, something special there.
Because people have said that about me, and when it came to just wrestling and it came to deathmatch wrestling, they've seen people like me come and go, and they've also said that in praise, because there's been the Mondo comparisons, there's been the Havoc, the Thumbtack Jack comparisons. And, there's also the Takeda comparisons that people give. Well, it is what it is. But that also fuels me to make sure that I'm going to stick around, because those guys, like some of those guys did burn out, like Mondo burn out, Thumbtack Jack burn out. And it's when people say stuff like that against you, or not even against you, just like, as a warning. If you take it right, that's fuel to fire. That's going to fuel you for the rest of your life, for the rest of your career. And once again, they've done it. They've been going at it for years now.
It's true. Yeah. And I mean, that's all you can really do with that type of criticism, is just to either take it and you use it to your advantage to get where you want to go, or they're right and you prove them right. So I like, let's talk about, so before this weekend, you guys plug some of your stuff before we get out of here. So this weekend, you said you told me you're wrestling in Loco Wrestling in Texas.
Yep.
And you have ICW No Holds Barred, right?
Yep. Versus Clint Margera from the European Independent Scene, Rise champion. Nice. And I mean, he's not Rise, he's TNT. And yeah, I got that. And then I have the Pride Championship Wrestling in Vegas next week. And I mean, I just every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm streaming on my Twitch streams, trying to make that a more full-time thing.
Tell everybody where to find that. What is your Twitch? Tell them how to get there.
Twitch.tv/ The Exotic Weapon. I pick games, movies, whatever. People have asked me, they're like, "Are you going to get Masha on the stream?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm going to get her on the stream. I'm going to bully her, and she's going to hate me." She wants to play. Oh no, because she wants to play me in Tetris. Like she's such a boomer.
Well, I mean, that's a fitting game. I mean, it has the Kremlin or whatever in the original background. So I mean, I guess. Yeah, no, that's all. I was going to ask you about if you played video games and what some hobbies were besides wrestling. So you're getting into that. So let's talk about just what stuff do you play on your stream? What are some of the games that people consume?
It's whatever I'm feeling, man. Like normally on Monday, I'll get a little stoned and I'll play Minecraft for like 3 hours, and it's a total vibe. But then I also do like RPGs, JRPGs, a Binding of Isaac. It's legitimately whatever. I've even done like BattleTech, and I'll sit there and play strategy games. And like I'm trying to get Effie and I have spoken about it, and Effie and I want to play like this game called like Worms Battleground. It's like Worms something, where it's like people know what it is. You look it up. It's like
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I can't think of the name, but.
Yeah, 4 worms, and it's like, all right, you got to war against these other guys' 4 worms with stupid, crazy weapons. It's a dumb, stupid, fun game. But I'm done like Final Fantasy and stuff like that. Like it's legitimately whatever I'm feeling at the day. But then I also I'll do like streams where I watch like weird movies, weird clips, weird documentaries, and just it's legitimately just whatever I'm wanting to do. I just want to hang out and have fun. And I'm trying to get her on there so that I can just have her watch weird crap with me and people ask her questions, and trying to get her out of her antisocial bubble.
Well, good luck.
Hey, I'm doing a lot. It's going a lot better than you think.
I know. I've noticed, man, because she and I are friends too. So I've noticed that you're. It's appeared to be the case. So good job, man. I'm glad somebody could do it.
It's like watch what you're saying. She knows where you live.
I know, right? That's from let me not break kayfabe on this too much here, but no, it's good for you, man.
But let's see. But yeah, I do that. Especially when I do move to the East Coast with her in July. Like having Twitch be full time is helpful, because that then I also have like my merch stores through Stiff Blade. Shout out to Stiff Blade. Stiff Blade's done a lot of stuff for a lot of the guys in the indies, like myself, and even guys hurt like Mance or Starboy Charlie. Like Stiff Blade's great people. They're great. They're just great to support in general, because they do care about the wrestlers, and they're very good. They're just very good people. And so I got my store through there, and I have my deathsamurai.com store, which is going off pretty well. I've had a fair amount of purchases, getting stuff shipped out. It's a bit new to me to have like my own store and actually have stuff like, I gotta write this out, gotta ship it out. But people seem to be very understanding right now, as it's a very new thing. But yeah, that's kind of all my stuff, like I'm trying to make between wrestling, I'm trying to make the merchandising and the Twitch stuff full time. And the brat, the dog, has some stuff coming out too because people love him way too much.
Hey man, that's all about branding, so capitalize on it.
Oh
Hey,
yeah,
Cody did it with his fucking dog, so you might as well do the same thing. And
I,
shit, man, WCW Nitros, man, Pepe, Mongo, he had the little chihuahua the whole time, so make it a thing, dude.
British Bulldog.
British Bulldog, Matilda,
Yeah, Matilda.
Steiner's had their bulldog. I can't remember the name of their bulldog, but they used to bring him out back in the day. So yeah, shit, do it, man.
I just want to expose him to giant pyrotechnics like some people did and scare the shit out of him.
God, I was there for some of those. I was like, what? That dog is terrified right now. Like poor Pharaoh. But
My dog just does not care. He's just like, as long as Dad's holding me, I don't give a shit. Soda.
I got a blind dog, so she's like, as long she has to be touching you all the time. So yeah. But shit, man, I appreciate you stopping by and talking to us and spending time letting sharing a little bit of deathmatch wrestling insight with us, because that's a part of wrestling that I think doesn't get enough exposure and credibility. So I'm glad to actually sit down and talk to you. But man, yeah, is there anything else other than you plugged your merch, you plugged your Twitch? I guess you plugged your shows. I guess we covered all that, man. So yeah, well, it's this was to the point of this Saturday we got the Independent Wrestling Hall of Fame, and then Sunday it'll be the World on GCW. You can check it out on pay-per-view on Fight TV. Everybody appreciate it. This is AKIRA. Tell everybody where your Twitter and stuff like that too. Did you plug your socials?
Yeah, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. It's all at the AKIRA way. It sounds exactly the way it is. I'm very active with people. So if you have any questions or just want to talk, I'll respond. I'm fairly responsive with stuff, unless you're being a weirdo, of course. Then I'm going to be very kind of ignore you.
Yeah. And there's a lot of weirdos out there, so don't be one of those guys. But
getting a lot of those lately. But those are my socials.
The more famous you get, man, the more weirdos are going to come out of the woodwork. So get used to it, brother.
It's fine. I just ignore them.
Man, appreciate you doing it, guys. Thank you again. This is another episode of our special GCW Road to Hammerstein series. This was AKIRA. I'm Casty Haynes. You can follow me right here at Casshole with 3 O's on social media, CASSHOOOLE. Pretty much find me everywhere on that. Go to bodyslam.net, guys, for all your wrestling news, rumors, results, some editorials. We got podcasts dropping every day. Bodyslam.net on all the Twitters and social medias and stuff too, man. Appreciate it, guys. Thank